I'm a public school bus driver, AMA, but you need to sit down and use your inside voice, you muppets. 25-year public school employee here. I have been on school buses for field trips and team trips to away games. At the high school level, they do not pay you people enough. Cannot argue. That being said, they do not pay you enough either. Who closes the door after you get off? LOL, was waiting for this. We pushed closed. Mystery solved. I'm now waiting to be kicked out of the Magicians Union. Worst incident with a student, parent? I've been fortunate and haven't had many worse student incidents. Just your usual ration of fist fights, pot smoking and shenanigans. But some of the more memorable were the nerd who broke a bully's nose badly enough he needed plastic surgery with one punch. So proud of him. The girl who proudly handed me her bottle of THC oil after I caught her dripping it because she was so stoned she thought I wouldn't mind. And the 5-year boy who announced he was going to murder his dad. Oh wait. One girl called her mom and said I was kidnapping them because I pulled over to wait for them to sit down. Which leads me to worst parent experience. The woman who tried to climb in my window to snatch me bald and beat my ass. But it was only worse on paper. Her face when she tried to extricate her hand from my firmly closed window was fairly priceless. What motivates you? Great question. Thank you. It's a small, daily thing that materially contributes to children's education. Sounds trite, but I go home every day knowing kids learn because I gave them a ride. What do you guys do after you drop everyone off at school in the morning? I tell my kids we have storage closets with our own slots and they just pack us away until the afternoon. In truth, I go home for 4 hours, feed my chickens and goats, do chores, nap. What are the smaller joys of being a bus driver? Were specific kids one that brought you motivation? Okay, hi. Prepare yourself. There are so many small joys. First category would be the hedonistic ones. Things just for me. I love driving. My route is long and takes me along some beautiful country roads. It's 30 minutes from my base to my first pickup, and it's just me and Martha, my bus. So much peace. Next would be the standard ones. Blah blah blah. Changing young lives, making a difference, being a reliable and useful member of society. Kids are cute. No, they are not. Stuff like that. Finally, the important things. I'm what I call a peripheral adult. You know me. You see me every day. But you and I are not in any sort of relationship. This makes me a safe haven for a lot of kids. And this is my favorite part. Kids show me they're weird in a way they can't with parents and wouldn't with peers. I've had kids try out comedy routines. All terrible. Ask me about boys or girls they like. Tell me their terrifying dreams or their aspirations for their futures. One little girl, a twin, was telling me what she wanted to be for Halloween. She wanted to be Anna, and her sister was to be Elsa. At the school, her sister came up to me and shyly said I will be Elsa because that's what she wants. But I really want to be an evil vampire, so I'm going to pretend in my head that I am. I've had kids choose me as their coming out person. I know whose parents are getting divorced. I know who is moving and who is scared and who hates when their mom drinks. It's beautiful. This being trusted, this faith that they have in me just because I show up on time and tell them they're awful but I love them anyway. How old are the kids you have drive? I drive standard school ages, 5 to 18, on age group separated routes. Has anyone gone number 1 in your bus yet? How about 2? LOL, thankfully no number 2. But yes, I've had peers, and puke, and blood, and so much snot, and spit. I hate spitters. Little buttholes. Are you a masochist? Bus driver is one of the worst jobs I can think of. God bless you. Thank you for your sacrifice. Maybe a little. It's more, not quite, sane. What's your favorite type of cheese? Brie. How long have you been a bus driver? Do kids or parents ever give you thank you notes towards the end of the school year? Going on 12 years with a 2-year break to drive tour buses. Another AMA perhaps. Yes, they do. And I am always grateful for it. And since you asked, holiday gifts and end of year gifts are lovely. Thank you for appreciating that I didn't kill your kid for an entire school year. It's a kindness if they are small and easily used up. Chocolate, small gift cards to coffee shops, etc. I will never be mad if you get me any trinket or wearable at all that has a school bus on it. We are a strange but proud people and I know no bus driver who doesn't love bus stuff. Also, we love getting actual thank you notes. One kid made me an official best bus driver in the world certificate and bought a dollar frame for it and it sits on my bedside table. But please do not give us money. We universally feel so awkward about this. I have one truly beautiful soul who meets the bus for her kindergartner at least once a week and hands me a tip. Like $5. Don't get me wrong. Money is good and I like it. Yes, the pay is terrible but better than fast food, but there's an implication when you give us money, especially when it's not a holiday. And it's so well meant and so sweet, but OMG, just please no. I love cookies and cold water bottles though. So what do you do when kids get rowdy? Are they allowed to eat in the bus? How often does the bus break down en route? What do you do then? Fun questions. I'm the bus driver you want. My goal is to not bother you with trivia, and kids being rowdy is trivial. I place a very strong emphasis on safety, so those rules are enforced. My kids sit down, and they wear their seatbelts. No touchy, no standy, no screamy. Beyond that, hey, you do you. Carter, if you want to draw pictures, play with slime, lick the windows, that's a real thing. Or repeat fart 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 all the way to school, then have fun. Kids who cause harm or endanger us are dealt with swiftly and simply. You get kicked off the bus. We take you to school and your parent comes for you at the end of the day. Depending on severity, the banishment can be from 1 day to, in severe cases, a school year. But I try not to do that. I'm here because parents need me. Breakdowns OMG. Such fun. We have an incredibly strong team though, and we have all subbed for one another enough that when a breakdown happens, the drivers nearest our route simply detour and pick up 2 or 3 stops if possible. Then the shop brings us a new bus and we transfer the kids and move along. Do you close the windows at the end of the day with a broomstick? My parents drove school buses when I was a child. I rode with them. When we got back to the bus barn, I'd help them close the windows by pushing them shut from the outside with a broomstick. I can still hear the clackety-clack noise echoing throughout the barn. Nice. I am fortunate enough to drive a brand new bus this year and tragically the broomstick trick doesn't work on the new windows. Miss those old bluebirds sometimes. But we have air conditioning so it's rare that my windows are opened. Are you friends with Miss Frizzle? She was my trainer. We have the same hair. Do you have any memories of your bus driver when you were a student that are worth sharing? Mr. Bill took his bus through the Dairy Queen drive-thru and bought twist cones for all of us on the last day of school. Legend. What languages do you know? What languages do you want to know? Je parle français et hablo espagnol también. I can also swear in Russian and German. And I can say thank you and I love you in a few more. I want to learn all the words. So they thank you enough? Not with words, but I get a lot of crayon pictures and hugs. If you weren't a bus driver, what would you be doing for work? Sociological anthropology. Is that what it's called when you study people and cultures? This was a big one for me. Does your bus have air conditioning? LOL. When I was a kid in rural Louisiana, none of our buses had a count. Our AC was the little windows that you had to pinch the tops to slide down LOL. Our bus did have heat. Thank Thor. So during winter it was nice and toasty. But winters are short in Louisiana. And when it gets hot, it gets really hot. So, are you comfy or do you bake? LOL. I like the heat, but I am also aware that cool air slows the metabolism and makes people sleepy. So my devious self turns the defrost on up front and cranks the AC for the children's comfort. Do they still sing 3 cheers for the bus driver? Never heard it, but I'd love to if you're so inclined. I do hear wheels on the bus at least twice a year. Best title ever. I might be late, and perhaps this Q has already been asked, but who was just the most atrociously annoying kid you ever had to transport and why? Did you see my comment about Rusty the window whizzer? I learned about him when I took over his route. He never peed out of the bus when I was driving, but he really didn't like sitting down or wearing pants. He was fun. My favorite obnoxious kid was Roy. He was 5, and he owned Lamborghinis, goats, 6 houses, and the meanest bull in the world. He ate kittens for dinner and had 5 daddies. He told so many beautiful stories I asked him if I could write them down into a book for him. He said no because I was probably too poor to buy enough pencils. Roy was an butthole. He never stopped talking and he was never wrong. I miss him a lot. For real. So much entertainment. I switched routes and he's somebody else's problem now. What is something about your job most people don't recognize that you wish we would? That we actually, really, want to be helpful. We do. We are hindered by a crapload of rules and regulations, and we cannot change the stop, and we cannot call you when we'll be late. We do what we can and we hope it's enough. Also we ain't stupid. We is educated. How many times have you been dragged into custodial interference and custody battles? Once only. Thank goodness. But it's very common. We also have stealth stops sometimes. We don't know where the safe houses for DV victims are, but we do know what it means when a child suddenly switches stops and gets on at specific others. Sit down, turn around and shut up. Mom. Hi bus driver, I'm a school crossing supervisor lollipop wrangler. I give a smile and wave to the bus drivers whenever they go past, but my tendency to overthink tiny social interactions makes me wonder whether it gets annoying, especially for the drivers who pass by 6 or 7 times a day. What do you think? I can't speak for everyone, but personally I'll live for the moment I pass the crossing guards and get to wave. I get legit butt that if they don't see me. I'm just so glad to know you like that moment too. Also, on the last day of school this past year I secretly bought lunch for our guards when I saw them at our unofficial last day of school restaurant. You all throw yourselves bodily in front of semi-trucks and angry minivan moms with nothing but a stop sign and an attitude. You are epic. I've got a couple questions. 1. When I was a kid, nobody cared where I sat. During my brief stint as a middle school teacher I had to make seating charts and buses would regularly lose headphone privileges. Did the rules become way more draconian in the 15 odd years or what? 2. When I was a kid I would run late some days and the driver would watch me run to the stop and then drive away. What gives was confirmed by friends already on the bus. Hi. Seating charts became more necessary as buses and schools became more crowded. If you're fighting 63 other big high schoolers for a spot for your tuckus, you better believe there will be beef about who gets the small personal seat in the back. So seating charts are a godsend. 2nd, yep, almost certainly true. My district requires us to wait for kids who are within 30 seconds of the stop at stop time until they have been written up 5 times for it. But if you were habitually tardy, I'm not surprised the driver left you. I am sorry, they apparently did it in a malicious manner. The thing is, when you are 30 seconds late, and the next stop is 30 seconds late, and so on. By my 15th stop I am now 7.5 minutes late and parents are standing out in the cold with their cranky children cursing my existence and posting angry rhetoric on community pages. So your driver shouldn't have waited until you were close. They should, however, have left you. I'm so sorry, honey. Who do you relate to more, Otto Mann or Veronica Crabtree? Mrs. Frizzle. How do you like your job? How is the pay and beanies? Do you guys work for the school, district, or city? Who fixes the buses? Do you have an on-call mechanic that works for whatever you answered for in the above question? I swear we had a mechanic at our school as well as a legit bay to work on the buses. But our school was tiny. I graduated in a class of 69. LOL. 69. Anyway, so it made no sense whatsoever why we would pay for all of that. I went to a very small high school as well. Hello, fellow sticks person. Pay is meh. We make a reasonable wage but only work about 2/3 of full time. Benefits vary so widely. My yard, which is district run, is a union shop so we have decent healthcare and state retirement. But subcontractors basically get the poopy end of the stick. We have an on-site shop, and being an on-call school bus mechanic is fairly easy as we don't work a lot of hours outside standard workday time frames, except field trips. So our mechanics take turns with holding the phone on weekends. How many mpg does a full-sized bus get? What do you do when if the bus breaks down? Have you memorized all of your routes? About 8 miles per gallon. I like to use a Prius problem to explain why that's good. If a Prius, which can get, let's just say, 50 miles per gallon can carry 4 people, then it would take 14 Priuses to carry my morning load. If I get 8 miles per gallon, I win because to go 50 miles would take me 6.25 gallons. It would take 14 Pri 14 gallons. I call the mechanic on the radio and my beautiful fellow drivers collect as many of my kids as they can while I wait for a replacement bus. Most of us work as substitute drivers for a couple of years before getting our own route, so we are at least familiar with all of the routes in an area. But I'm special and I can not only drive all of my previous routes from memory but tell you most of the kids who rode them. Actually, I'm not special. We can all do that. The package pup has come to deliver. Why our package? Comment gimme to relieve your delivery. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.